Right, so in Python, you know that there are 1D arrays and 2D arrays, but generally speaking, in Python, we use something called lists, all right? Now, a list is a data structure that we use, okay? So if you ever need to know what it is, it's basically a data structure because it can hold multiple pieces of data. So for example, all right, generally speaking, if we wanted to have 5 people in a database, you might have, all right, you might use Python and say name 1 equals Ray, name 2 equals Gemma, name 3 equals Eve, name 4 equals Bob. All right, so I've got 4 names there, but realistically speaking, that's a lot of memory I'm using in the computer. This is why what we would use is a single list to combine all of those elements, okay? So these I can group, okay? And instead of using name 1, name 2, name 3, name 4, I can then say they are all my friends, okay? But what I do there is I do equals, do a square brackets, and then I can put those individual items in that. So there's Ray, okay, there's Chima, there's Eve, and there is Bob. All right, now each of the items in this list have a location, all right? I often refer to it as the index of the list, all right? So Ray would be in position 0, Chumma 1, Eve 2, Bob 3. Now what that means for me is if I was to print that out, it would just print out the whole list. But if I want to get a specific item out of this list, what I could do is say print. All right, so I'm going to go to print, and I'm going to say friends, and I can put a square bracket and refer to the position. So if I wanted Eve, I would put a 2 there. All right, and that on the screen, all right, so if I just put my output here, my output below would just be Eve. Now, you can, and don't forget this, you can concatenate items from your list. So, if I wanted to join one of those names, all right, say for example, I wanted to say one of these is my best friend, what I can then do is go print, all right, my best friend is, and remember, if you use the plus, you can join those items together. So I can say my best friend is, and all I need to do, if I was to say Bob was my best friend, I could do friends and the number 3 in there, and close my bracket, and the output would be my best friend is Bob. All right, so that's just kind of setting it up. One thing to bear in mind, all right, if I had a list of numbers or a list of ages, all right, so imagine I've got friends set up here, but I'm going to create another array now, another list, sorry, called ages equals, all right, but this time these are going to be integers. So I'm going to say 37, 32, 39, 40, all right? Notice that none of these have speech marks around it. That therefore means that they are integers. So what we've got here, all right, is we've got strings and what we've got here are integers. Now the problem comes when we want to use that age. So if I wanted to say my best friend is Bob and he is aged 40, what I would have to do here is say print my best friend is plus friends, so Bob is in 3 plus he is plus ages. But if I was to put ages, that would be wrong. I would need to cast it. I would need to convert that, because this is a string, I would need to convert that to a string and put str, alright, ages 3, and then my final bracket there to close that one as well. So what I've done there is I've converted that integer that's stored there into a string so I can join it together. So that is a single list. Now, you know that you are expected to iterate through those lists, alright? But there may be other things that you need to do first. So before we look at iterating through the list, say you wanted to add another person to the end of this list, alright? All I would do is I would say friends dot append, and I could put Harry. Now what that's going to do is add Harry now at position 4. Alright, so if I used append, it adds Harry to position 4. Alright. The other thing I can do is I could insert items. I could say friends dot insert, and I can put the position you want to insert it into, and then they all move up. Okay, so if I was to insert that there, they would move up, and then Harry could go into that position. So I could say 2, comma, Harry, and that item is then inserted into that list. Alright? So that's the first part of the video, just to kind of reintroduce lists to you. Now, what I'm going to do is show you how to iterate through that in 2 different ways. Alright, so I'm going to show you that first in a second video.